curator for actually the dance festival we hold, Erasing Borders. And I'm a dancer, a designer, and now I'm going to be helping here too, introducer, if that's a word. So this session is moderated by Ravi Shankar himself. And I'd like to take a second to introduce the first author that we have here today, Srinivas Mandavili. And please, if I miss anything, elaborate when you have the time. So the book title is Howrah Bridge, and Srinivas Mandavili is the Chief Pathology and Laboratory Medicine at Hartford Hospital, and the author of Chapbook Gods in the Foyer. His work has been featured in the anthologies Hum, Astage Wolte, Transcendent Zero Press 2022, and of Hartford in Many Lights, as well as numerous literary journals, including Ratty, Poetry Huevos, The Night Heron Barks, New Square, Modern Haiku, and The Raven's Perch, Verse Virtual, and Journal of American Medical Association. Mandavili is a two-time Pushcart Prize nominee and lives in Connecticut with his wife, Bela.
Okay, and so before Srini gets started, welcome everyone. I'm Ravi Shankar. We have a really special event today. We're going to hear both from some amazing poets, but we're also going to watch a few poetry films. And so the way that we're going to operate, we're going to hear two poets, we're going to watch a little interlude, half an hour of these amazing little poetry films, and then we'll finish with three poets. I just wanted to start first by thanking all of you for being here. Also, a big thanks for the Indo-American Arts Festival and for International House. If you don't know IAC, now you do. We do programming all through the year. There's a film festival, a theater festival. Erasing the Borders is our dance festival. And so annually there's always an occasion to be able to support Indian arts. And so I've been the poetry curator for the last few years. It's always usually at the end of the day. And so I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. So I'm really excited that all of you are here. And please, without further ado, I will have Srini. And feel free to stand or sit down.
Thanks, Ravi. Can you guys hear me okay in the back?
It's not on.
It's not on.
How about now?
Oh, that's better.
Good evening. It's really a pleasure to be here in company of such amazing writers. And thanks to Ravi for his friendship, graciousness, mentorship over the years, and Usha as well, who's been so gracious always. I'll read a few poems from my new chapbook, Howrah Bridge. As many of you know, Howrah Bridge is a magnificent cantilever bridge in Kolkata. And for me, it was a bridge I visited as a child on our long train journeys from remote northeast India to the south. And as I wrote poems for the new book, through the faithful returning to India, the bridge sort of became a structure or a scaffolding of sorts for this chapbook. I'll read the opening poem called Fathoms, which is sort of talks about a return to a father or a father-like figure. Fathoms. Father carried a nimbus of being larger than life, halting the superfast Tufan mail by running to its engine. One must return to big things, like the Taj Mahal or the pyramids in Giza. I remember him in the depths of lividity. Some wounds heal. He always expertly removed splinters from my finger with a safety pin. On my return home, he laughed, ascribing the visit as a hope to find or discover him. That day, he sat bare-chested at the dining table, splaying open pomegranates on a steel plate for my snack. It was a bloody mess. When I left, I saw the tonnage of his hardwood plank-like back I used to walk on when very young. As my flight surges to plumb some vastness, I hear the sonorous moan of wind like a whale song. The next one, Blackouts. It's written as a haibun, which is a prose section followed by a haiku at the end. I'm reading this poem partly because it was one of the first few poems of mine that won a big contest, and you know how you get this thrill, you get this email. And the judge said it was a very strange poem. So I'll read to you Blackouts, a strange poem, which actually stems from a memory as a child of air raids and sirens during a war in Western India. And Blackouts refers to that. And the ending imagery of the poem is, sort of evokes the Pushpak Vimana from the Ramayana as an emerging from darkness, if you will. Blackouts. I played with a swan when bored, turning its long, shiny steel throat, the belly revealing betel nut leaves, slate lime, clove, and cardamom. In its silver eyes, there was darkness. The windows were covered in newspapers painted black, and just before the sirens sounded, I would run to my neighbor's house. Rabindra Sangeet always playing on a spool tape player. I was shy and seldom ate the okra boiled with rice. In the rising steam, they were so soft, so moist, so green. Once I heard my parents talk about the naughty twin brothers from the neighborhood. They were last seen walking, holding hands along train tracks. That week, I grabbed onto a live wire and remained quiet, unmoved, worrying everyone, and a soothsayer was called to examine my hands. My best friend stopped coming over. Years later, found that her father had passed away, poisoning himself using a rusted metal pin as a toothpick. I am latitudes away, but still look at where the soothsayer's finger had rested on each mount of my right palm, following its lines to the wrist. I had not heard what he told my parents, and I retraced those lines again and again. They stretch across my body, all the way to my head, my feet. Sometimes I trip over those lines. I'm watching the ticking bright radium hands of a clock and hear the mythical golden bird yoked to horses, studded with pearls and parting the weltering night. In the festival of Uttarayan in Western India, the terraces are full of people flying kites and yelling kai poche, which is in Gujarati cut or cut your kite. And the poem is pretty self-explanatory. Kai poche. It happens most nights when lights across the pond flare like gold globes or red ash, when fog becomes smoke. You think of ghats in Varanasi, the raven perched on stone steps with the shine of glass and glue. In its black eye, the image of father's calloused hands over yours, slashed with cuts from manja, your fighter kite flapping its spiked plumage, spiraling into yawning undertow, its bobbing wick rising in warm air, your bare feet bruised on the brick terrace. When all other tukals plunge in a tangled heap, and you ask how much more the spinner could unspool, he says, as far as needed. And even now, you cannot stop reeling. Going on time? Time for a couple of poems or one poem? One poem. I'll end with another haibun, and this is for Bela, my wife, who supports me in my endeavors. The haibun is called Rain. We lay together on a charpai, the thrum on asbestos roofs, ending all days. The downpour began like Sanskrit incantations we had heard at Kamakhya temple, or the one in the drenched valley of lychee and guava trees. As we clustered by Dikho's shore, the river gravid with mud, branches and tree trunks, all running with a ferocity towards the cantilever bridge. Brahmaputra becomes a sea every monsoon, never settles, inundates all the elephant grass which our Mahot carefully held back on our sides. Today, we wander dreamily into another summer on Lakshman Jhula where Ganges turns green. Tourists run to small motels to escape the drizzle. Some things do not change. The small delight of sitting on a railway platform eating chana dal fritters by wet train tracks with steaming cardamom cups and tea clay cups. The smell of rain mouses its way in like it did at the time you cried at your mother's passing. And the sky was played by Indra's bow. There was so much dampness the night your water broke as we ran from the laundromat with a newspaper over our heads. The car's floor mats also soaked from a leaking heater core. And this is how I know you, on an outrigger in a drizzle, breeze coursing your face, not joyless, but not joyous for anything. And in its swells, floodwaters pour in, a thought that the world might change once or not at all.
All right, thank you so much, Srini. And now?
So it gives me great pleasure to announce for Usha Akela with her book Unveiled. Usha Akela has authored 6 books of poetry, 3 chapbooks, and scripted 2 musical dramas. She was a finalist and close contender for Austin's Poet Laureate in 2025. She earned an MSc in creative writing from the University of Cambridge in UK in 2018. 3 of her books have been translated into Macedonian, Spanish, and Romanian, which is coming in 2026. And poems have been translated into Turkish, Telugu, French, Hindi, and more. Her project, Matwala, and the website for that is www.matwala.com with 2 A's, has significantly contributed to the visibility and diaspora poets. She was selected as a creative ambassador for the City of Austin for 2019 and in 2015. Her work has appeared in approximately 100 journals and anthologies. She also has another website, which is a website of curated interviews from various fields. And that is www.the-pov, like point of view.com. So with that, please take over.
Okay. And I will just say very quickly, before we hear from Usha, this is the 10-year anniversary of Matwala. It's an organization dedicated especially to South Asian poetry, founded by Usha and Pramila, who couldn't be here. I hope she will tell us a little bit about it, but this is the culmination of a wonderful year of events, all dedicated to celebrating South Asian poets. So please, Usha.
Thank you, Ravi. I want to do something really important, I think, more than my reading. I want to felicitate Ravi today. Matwala is really indebted, grateful to his support of South Asian poets, and what he does with IAAC has been just phenomenal. And we invented something called the Rainmaker Award, and that's what we're awarding you with today, Ravi.
Wow, this is very unexpected. Thank you so much.
It's called the Matwala Monsoon Maker Award.
Oh, wow. So let the rains come.
Yes. I'm delighted to do that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to begin with a poem called In the Air of Varanasi. I haven't read this poem out before, it's a new poem. When faith is as thin as muslin, an easily tattered remnant woven by a severed limb of thwarted hope, perhaps grace will bring you to Varanasi to melt in its air light as incense, reminding you to be nothing, so you can be nudged again by an ancient air to remember. Varanasi is the metaphors of the architecture of self, the accordion of gods, the staircase of choices in your soul, to descend to insatiable funeral pyres piled with logs of impermanence, or to ascend to a dome of transcendental realities, the bank your consciousness on which your breath enacts its footwork, the boat your mind that can pull away from the circus of its script, the river your ever-flowing thoughts, the bazaars, the commerce of your samsara, the plump orange marigolds, the petaling of your desires, the streets, the maze of your veins echoing a guzzle of mourning, and what is out of sight like its brothels in the room of your transactions you hide from the world. Allow a ceremony of lights on the bank of your ailing heart, its flickering reflection to undulate in your musty mind under the throat of a deepening blue-black sky. The gaze of wild gods and gaudy colors sprawled on walls will break the clay of your knowing and litter streets with shards for the earth's tongue to swallow. Stand by a locked doorway and find the guru in the lock that's turning you like a key in another direction. Allow a man in crutches to give you directions to a hidden, timeless mystic whose cool marble blessing will torch you to rebirth.
Wow.
So my next two poems, I think, are poems that need to be read and need to be heard. And this is for Palestine. In an unremembered remembrance of a land falling like crumbs on the table of history, and children reeling half-ripe to the ground, I eat figs and break bread, not civilized machine-cut slices, but hearty bread with olives that I break and butter in my Brahmin kitchen of boiling rice and fermented batter. I'd shut down the news for months to resurrect from my body's brokenness. The heart breaks from too many stories of endless endings. Then this eating of bread and the poems buried in rubble poking through. I am Hindu, a faith house with possibilities to enter and exit from in different raiment. I could have been born Palestinian, walked on raw earth, a grandfather telling me packed stories like specks in dust, or a mother calling me to the well to draw days and nights from her endless love. Or I could be Jewish, lighting 9 points of memory to hold on to, embroidering a handkerchief with threads of lament. I might have known the prophets of 3 faiths, picked a page from the Old Testament to place my faith in, like water in a bucket. And if I look to one God and his knife sky, would I wonder why we need so many arms to comfort us in these times? All right, this poem is called Jerusalem. Thank you. Jerusalem, shall I dare say your tales with this foreign tongue, as I spin like a top in your streets? Shall I enter your gates as you lie under the fingertips of a golden menorah? What badge shall I show your armed men keeping peace? When I listen to a mother calling for her children in fields of invisible ears and tongueless tongues, and old walls tremble with secrets, flags, and burdens, and time the deathless watchman prowls your streets. When the mint in your tea refreshes my tongue and bread fills my stomach, and I walk the walk of Via Dolorosa on the palm of the city, pointing different directions with more than one minotaur at its center. When I climb Mount Olives and see dead men waiting like chocolates in boxes to be opened. When I see the patience and the impatience of waiting and prophets' names, too many to remember, cast shadow on your streets, shall I ask for permission to enter? Shall I dare stand by a wall, join lines of people in eternal mourning, yearning? Shall I join my grief to theirs and ask for temples to be built? Idle, of idols, how shall I gain entry? You, the navel of this earth, where people rooted to salt, faith, loyalty 3 times over, like 3 rivers flowing separately between your messianic apocalyptic banks, what message can I bring as balm for your wounds? All messages are known to you. They are coded in your stones in the cursive of prophets, city of walls, stones, earth, restoration, air, light, sky, blood, hope, tears, wail, lament, city of streets wagging many languages, where past, present, future coexist as solemn triplets. Shall I dare change the cartography of religion, stand under the golden dome, and let fly a new litany, longing to be rewritten? So I'm going to read, I'm not sure, but maybe I'll just end with this. It's called Dreaming of Ancestors, and it's a series of poems about my grandparents coming from dreams that I've had. And this is called Oars Woman, O-A-R-S-W-O-M-E-N. And the last 2 lines refer to the Sri Chakra, which is sacred geometry, an icon for the goddess. And so in this boat, the oars women sit on either end, 2 grandmothers legislators of my soul. In accord and rhythm paddle my course. From the first insignia of inherited predispositions, I follow lead, my individuality a potpourri of stringed vibration. Like one with flair I toss mustard seeds in a seething pan, know how to balance a medley of spices to satiate the tongue's adventures. From the other, I know how to endure suffering. We both suspire like Sita, but sometimes I transpire like Draupadi, leave night in wake of unbound tresses unruly with rage. Poems uncoil from Kali's alphabet. I will know respite only when the final fire consumes me. Stitched to their unfaltering gaze, I am in search of a bank lost in the fog, tracing mitochondrial symphonies to Eve, to Lilith. I hesitate at the garden's gates. Once banished, I roam the dirge, return a mantra. I no longer long for inherited kingdoms. I retract from this house to another. The call is as far as stardust. In the center of a house of triangles where she, the mother pointillistic fullness, an emissary of light, rules a net of cosmoses.
Oh, great. Let's have one more hand for Srini and Usha. It's wonderful. And I'm going to ask Usha to just introduce this next little section, which is very special. The IAC is all about collaboration, and this project, which was specially formulated for Matwala, the May Films, is a brainchild of Usha. And I will, after Usha just briefly introduces it, I'll let you know about the poets whose poems have been turned into films very briefly, and then we're just going to watch them. So will you tell us, please, about May Film?
Yes, I'm going to keep this really brief. Mehafil is a pun on Mehafil, which is a gathering of poets. We added an M, it became Mehafilm, a gathering of poetry filmmakers. I was inspired by the Real Poetry Festival a few years ago, and I loved the osmosis that can happen between poetry and film. Poetry organically lends itself to imagist language. And my dream was to have a festival of South Asian poetry films, and we did that just a month ago. I thought we'd get 5, we got about 30 films, and it's the first time ever we've had a South Asian poetry film festival. Ravi was superbly kind to feature this today, but we haven't had the time to do a full screening, so he picked 12, and it's for you to savor. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Usha. And I'll also mention that all the poets here today have new books out that you can contact them about, and they would be happy to let you know the details. And And so before we watch these, I'm going to very quickly, because they're not here, let you know what we're going to watch. So we're going to first start with Sophia Naz, who's an amazing bilingual poet. Her work bridges English and Urdu, and she's the author of 6 poetry collections. We're going to watch her little poetry film, Hands, and then followed by my own film, Limbed, and I just want to give a shout out to the graphic designer Anjali Pulam, who did a wonderful job with the animation of this. And then we'll see a little film from Kiran Bath, Live from the Bath it's called, and she's a Tin House and Kundiman Fellow. Then Kiran Kapoor, award-winning poet whose last book is Visiting Indira Gandhi's Palmas. And her poem video is From the Afterlife. Then we have Faisal Mahuddin, a ghazal for the diaspora, followed by Keisha Gai Anderson's Fly, Sharab Hashmi's Gunpowder Tea, a UK-based poet, Yogesh Patel, his poem Exclamation, our very own Usha's Seed of a Tree, and we're going to hear from Yutsu Sharma later, but we have a wonderful film made by Stephen Bokos about the earthquakes in Nepal. I See My World Shaking. Short film Time by Nazia Parvez. And then finally, the other founder of Matwala, who couldn't be here with us today, Pramila Venkateswaran, Satyagraha, a film that is made by Chip Wolford. So these are all very short. I know I said 12 films, but they're all about a couple minutes each. So please enjoy. And you may want to, folks here, move around here so you can see the screen. Thank you, Daisy.
If your hands could smell, you'd be an octopus. Every surface sent a million stories. The stealthy stickiness of slugs would seep epics in the drama of the underbrush. Melting stalagmites show and tell in your digits, earth as memnosine. If your hands could smell, the suck of subway cars would stop you dead in your tracks to decode gleaming conduits, lighting up nosegays on your fingers, newborn bouquets, archaic attar. Each night, etymology of odor would allure you, greedy as Prometheus, but unable to steal the summer of a firefly, the distant musk of a star. If your hands could smell, you'd speak in canine. Each pole and passing bush whisper, each sniff you'd get the snitch of neighborhood carousing in high fidelity. Until weary of invisible graffiti scroll of metropolis unfolding in endless olfactory braille, you'd head for the woods, hoping trees were not such talkers, or at least would shoot the breeze between sentences. How long did you walk? It's hard to tell, but when you fell, palms down, cupped hollow as a flute upon the ground, you understood how the void makes music possible. And history had it wrong. It was not earth who bore witness. It was your hands all along.
Limbed. Like a bird is its flight through the tops of the trees, the way a hand in the air lends a bend of the knees. The body can in its motion embody several stories. The limbs are the world. Waves break on the shore, then surely recede. Air turns to rain, shifts to mist, zooms to speed into night, which hangs like a bead on a necklace of days that sways as we breathe, limbers the world. The dancer who dances is subsumed by the dance. The stories she tells can be read through her hands. Poised mid-flight from her ankles' rapid jangle, the lands she evokes are distant and spangled. Her limbs are world. Each of us here in our body is pent, legs crossed or missing, arms open or bent. In each gesture and inflection, a message is sent. Our world is limbed.
Instructions for Bundle. The poet interrupts, live from the bathtub. In this life I dwell in false temples. There were no witnesses apart from memory, finding dawn on the backs of Aryan necks, blonde tips dripping wet over classroom chairs. I licked salt from the floor, made ash of my pelvis. Caught in the rain, sometimes I'm found soaking blue from an altar. Whose altar? And I did find answers in the mouths of brown men. A laying seahorse in his bed, hippocampus, potential monster. I muted my sex. There are no witnesses to the character arc. An isolated greenhouse. I grew in several directions. I dried for 7 centuries. We sat in a diamond on a Sunday, oiling one another's feet. Mother, Masi, sister. Something said in Gurumukhi. I told their souls, stop toiling. I oiled my own. I dry brushed before entering this tub tonight. Skin, ghosting and holy, new palm lines emerging, an audacity, the Ganga, a familiar me. I do not seek rebirth, I am accumulating.
Dust suits me better. Gray-brown fleck I can mix, move into the smallest space. Spark the grittiest tunes, divide me into 50 states. When sun wandering, crazed, my face is scattered by teaspoon. Over the great basin I played out lines and salt rising in the haze. Over hard farmed, hard land, bent fair-headed wheat, combined cloud. Silt along the fat lip of riverbed, semis hissing and rumbling in tongues. I can still feel the hum of telephone wires running from one leg to another. I filter these lines in case a story is a body, in case we lose our place. Hello, friend. Everything. I can't stop thinking. Turns out, thoughts granulate. Turns out, another was a girl. I was all those girls. A girl statue, torch raised, you know the one, standing in the harbor, wearing a sari. The tide flames up. So much dust. I am a continent, absorbing. A thimbleful of mother, angry powder, laughing specks, froth, filth, lover, crying cinders, particles of mineral wind. I'm proof that nothing is lost. You can breathe me in.
We have always been the displaced children of displaced children, tethered by distant rivers to abandoned lands, our blood's history lost. To temper the grief, imagine your father's last breath as a Mughal garden. Marble pool at its center, the mirrored sky holding all his tribe had lost. Above the tussle of his wounded city, sad-eyed paper kites fight to stay aloft. One lucky child will be crowned the winner, everyone else will have lost. Wish peace upon every stranger who arrives at your door, even the thief. For you never know when your last chance at redemption will be lost. In another version of this story, loneliness mothers away the rust. Yet, without windows in its hull, the time traveler's supplication gets lost. Against flame-lit testimonies of homesickness, the swinging of an axe. Felled banyan trees populate your nightmares, new enlightenments lost. The rim of this porcelain cup is chipped, so sip with practiced caution. Even a trace of blood will copper the flavor, the respite of tea now lost. Tell me, vessel, with what new surrender can you evade deeper damnation? Whatever it is, hack away before your children too become the lost.
I am the river that stood up and walked into a story that called me by a song sounding like my name. I stepped into a saga cemented by suffering, set in a loop, a lit fuse to a bomb that blows us to shards whenever we try to remember the root that grew us, name the stones that damned us. And who can stand up as only half a thing anyway? We are an echo in our ancestors' ears even now, because all that has happened is happening still. And they look out onto the unfathomable sea for those dragged into its wake by greed, bodies breaking onto shore to seed another place, faces fading, melting into a mirage that haunts the horizon, a half-formed picture dissolving with the day, and amnesia slowly reforming the mind. But there is no time and no end to water. It always finds itself again, becomes more. It will spread out, sink into earth, shed the sediment of small men stomping through our lives, led only by their misunderstanding. The constellation of journeys through time, all the rivulets and waterfalls that carve the worlds from your mind, will come together massive and shining and show you her whole face. That very same you thought you misplaced.
The ship is now a salty coast, as is the captain and the subaltern. They rise uncontrollably to the swell under the Empire's ivory plectrum. Fistful of opium newsprint, scalloped sugar spoon and syrup-to doused bayonet. The moment of docking, as fortune's flickers, keeps arriving. Boxes of rolled tea leaves, still mistaken for ammunition. For every grain of sugar, a grain of doubt. How to brew beside a quarrel in the marrow. How to leave you mistaken for cartridge shot of the heart of tea.
An exclamation to break the tyranny of the liquid prison, or add words forever stunned, just drumbeats. The jetted bubbles of questions, thousands of fountain words to fall within, unanswered, perturbed, diffused history as before, with myriads of white petals tossed and offering to Surya. The whale dives as a question. Man's sun scatters the bloody flowers, on the altar of Pharaoh sea. God shivers wreathed with bombs, watching from the Sahara's waves of faith ascertained a man he faced. The exclamation skyhops to find its own heaven that suspended Trishaku and Jonah's deliverance, the red roses at its feet.
I went away for a little while to a place without a name. There might have been a carnival or a shimmer of cherry blossoms, because I came back with petals in my throat. I came back very quiet, so maybe it was a black hole that took my voice. And my heart is still sore with all its past fetters. I went away for a little while. Did I tell you? No one knows where. I'm trying to remember the color of the sky there and the taste of the air. I'm not sure if I came back a seed or a tree, and how I ought to be. I haven't cried, so it must be me.
I see my world shaken, my floor, my bed, my table, my house, my pen stumbling across the soggy span of my page. The stanzas splinter from the kicks of a demon, awake after a sleep of millions of years. I see my squares mangled from the litter of a wheezing earth. I see top of our towers crumble and topple onto the dried up riverbeds. I see rickety bridges shudder, waters undulating in the turquoise lakes on the lofty Himalayan heights, a bowl of milk held in the hands of a fearful grandma. I see daggers of snow crashing onto the mule paths, the salt roots threading to the rocky terrains clogged, the sheets of snow stained from mammoth avalanches, pinnacles of snow thrust from earth's hard tumble and disappear in a fraction of a second in God's colossal mouth. I see domes of our stupas crack, 5 colored flags fluttering before Buddha's own eyes bend and break. Oil lamps lit by Yeti's hollowed skull dim out in the sunken canyons of monks' wailing eyes. I see famished angels coming out of snow-clad sanctuaries like the saffron flames fleeing their kingdoms in exile. I see them come out and lean against the mossy fences on the threshold of great canyons to ponder over the loss of lives, uttering prayers as earth cracks open and engulfs their settlements in front of their own bemused eyes. I see shrines of our deities shake, the Lord's own body cracked into lifeless boulders. His mace, his scepter, his lotus, his conch shell, his brass bowls of nectar, his splintered quiver full of blunt arrows. I see my world shaking.
In a world without time, rain could not fall. Rivers do not run, clouds do not gather, petals never open. Dawn and dusk vanish, movement ceases, sequence dissolves. Nothing begins, nothing ends, nothing becomes. Love remains unformed, memory never takes shape, songs never arise. Thought does not extend, emotion cannot deepen, connections cannot emerge. Art, wisdom, shared glances, and stories remain unrealized. All that could exist stays unmanifest, silent, empty, without measure or place. In a world without time, rain could not fall.
Satyagraha. Satyagraha in Sanskrit means two things. It means non-violence and it means insistence on the truth. And that is what John Lewis was all about. Non-violently insisting on the truth. Nancy Pelosi, eulogy at John Lewis's memorial, July 30th, 2020. As he crossed the bridge in Selma, seared by sun, bearing beatings, sand grains stinging split skin, vermilion blooming on black bodies, Lewis pressed on, as the great one in India had persisted stubbornly. Active nonviolence haunted bold young Lewis, bearing white policeman's blows, lifting his hands to protect his spinning head. He heard the tune of his lineage. We've to keep going on, to keep going on. Scratched black and white photos of yesterday, metamorphosed today into multicolor marches, despite paddy wagons packing dissenters in. Jail doors open, hungry for tenants, but young satyagrahis relentlessly gather in new borders. They know the iron taste of truth.
Sister and aunt and cousin have made the trip. My sister Ravi Shankar Brown is a very fine poet, so you should look her up as well. And it's my great pleasure to introduce our next guest, a dear friend. We just saw his poem Quaking Cantos. And Yutsu Sharma is one of the few poets in the world who make their living with poetry. He's named in The Guardian as a world-renowned Himalayan poet. The Kathmandu Post calls him a one-man academy, and Michael Graves the Himalayan Neruda. He's had a number of fellowships from the Rockefeller Foundation, the Trubar Foundation, the Institute of Translation of Hebrew Literature, and is the author of 11 poetry collections. I think we'll hear from his most recent one, perhaps, as well as other work, The Alchemy of Nine Smiles. And he's held fellowships at the University of Ottawa, the Seamus Heaney Center, the Irish Writers Center, Beijing Open University, NYU, and Columbia, where we are right now. And Yu was at the Poetry Parnassus Festival to celebrate the London Olympics, where he represented Nepali in India. Though he lives in Nepal, he's a Punjabi-born writer. And when he currently is the editor of Pratik, a literary magazine. And I'm hoping that he'll tell us a little bit. He's also the curator of an extraordinary new festival, the Himalayan Literary Festival. We had the first one a couple years ago. This next one is happening in Kathmandu at the end of May, and it's open and welcome to everyone. So please, Yu.
Namaste, everybody. Namaste means I bow to you. I bow to the soul of God in you. So this is a traditional greeting in the Himalayas. So it's a great honor to be here to read with my wonderful fellow poets. You know, in Nepal we don't have roads. We have mules and the Sherpas carrying you up. And I always make it a point to say that Everest is not a Nepali word. Everest is the name of this British guy who in the colonial times tried to prove if Everest is the highest mountain in the world. And the Nepali name for Everest is Sagarmatha, meaning forehead of the sky, which is very poetic. And Tibetan name for Everest is Chomolungma, meaning mother of the winds of the world, which again is very poetic as opposed to this British guy's name. But British are very good to us. They come and change us and they go away. The poem is called Mules. On the great Tibetan soul route they meet me again, old forsaken friends. On their faces fatigue of a drunken sleep, their lives worn out, their legs twisted, shaking from carrying illustrious flags of bleeding ascents. Age-long bells clinging to them like festering wounds, beating notes of a slavery that modernism brings, cartons of iceberg, mineral water bottles, solar heaters, Chinese tiles, tin cans, carom boards, sacks of rice, and iodized salt from the plains of Nepal Tarai. Butterflies of the terrace fields know their names, singing brooks, tempests of their breathless climbs. Traffic alert and time-tested, they climb, carrying dreams of past peacocks, pamphlets of a secret religious war, filth of an ecologist trial seaman, entire kitchen for a cocktail party at the base camp, defunct development agendas of guilty donors. The West weird visions lusting for an instant purge. Stone steps of the mountains embossed on their drugged brains like lines of aborted love scratched on the stoked rocks of the water spouts. Starry skies of the dozing valleys know the ache of their secret sweat. Sunny days along the crystal rivers taste of their bleeding eyes. And the greatest fiction of their struggling lives lost like real mules, clattering their hooves on the flagstones, encircling the cruel grandeur of bloodthirsty mule baths around the glaciers of Annapurnas. But Himalaya is not just poverty or suffering, all the hunger and it's more romance. In Sanskrit we have a word called Devatatma, meaning place for the Himalayas, meaning a place where soul of the god lives. So I want to read this poem. It's called Little Paradise Lodge. It ends with this word, Devatatma. Little Paradise Lodge. My pen frozen against the daggers of Annapurnas. And an oblong, shapeless plant chopped from a sandalwood tree trunk and used as a table, I place my elbows and hold my face in my hands. Blinding snows of the Annapurna ridge, mutually shining in the eye of my mind. I sit in the spacious courtyard of your paradise lodge, deciphering shrill notes of birds in the mossy trees. One body initiates a lilting note like our meeting, while others let loose a racket of breath vessels ending with question tags. Can I stay longer? At least one more day in your little paradise lodge. Two birds praying in the crimson cherry tree stir a chord that seems like opening up of the blossoms of our bodies. Would you take me away and marry me? But what about this electric whistle? The cicada's constant chirr, chirr, chirr. The struggle of our breathless bodies against the dark suit of the night. The pigeons strutting freely in your courtyard, cool like exhausted porters climbing the mule paths in their singing gorges. Their guttural quin-quin-qua, quin-quin-qua, quin-quin-qua. They seem to be using a human language, a kind of hushed speech robbers might use. Love, in the courtyard of your little paradise lodge, I see silence turning flowers into daggers. A herd of cows shuffles past me in a joyous mood, festive like young girls going to a hillside fair, saying, "Don't you go away, brother, don't you go away. We would be back until dusk with presents." A cuckoo passes overhead, insisting, "Caw, caw, caw. Please, do not leave me alone. I'm utterly alone, stuck on the last mountain of the world. And beyond me, just one more mountain, where they say a deity lives, guarding a tiny turquoise lake. And thereafter, nothing but realm of melting snows, where souls of the gods live." So, I travel a lot. So when I travel, you meet nice people, people who support you. There's Jane, who is here today, my friend. And this book actually today that we are celebrating is dedicated to Jane. Jane, thank you. She is the inspiration behind this book. But when you travel, you meet nice people like Jane or Ravi or Rajni. But then you meet very naughty people sometimes. So I was in Amsterdam, and they had a reading in my honor like today. And we had cake, food upstairs. So I ate all the cake and all the food. And because I was tired, I was in Amsterdam, I was going around. Then after a while, I started shaking. I asked my friend, "What's going on? I'm not feeling well." He said, "Oh, you come on, you man from Kathmandu. Don't you know you have taken space cake?" I said, "What is space cake?" He said, "Don't you know? All the hippies are born in Kathmandu. So you have taken hashish cake." I said, "What?" I took 5 pieces. I have 2 in my bag. And then I thought I'm dying. Because I didn't know it's coming. And then they try to convince me I'm going to be all right. The more they try to convince me I'm all right, more panicked I became. So this poem called Space Cake Amsterdam. This is like Hindu going to Europe, Don't panic, they said. Remain cool like your Krishna. Meditate maybe like Buddha, uttering Om Mani Padme, jewel in the lotus. Or lie down and relax like Vishnu on the python bed. to float on the ocean's currents, buoyant on the invisible thread of your breath in slow motion. Millions of cats prowled around me. Smoke from shared sex and acid joint stung my eyes. Unsettling tongue of an awkward fire fed my stomach. I squinted queasily towards the formidable edge, unknown ominous frontier of human life. They laughed a secret laugh behind my back. Isn't it crazy this man from Kathmandu should get stoned from a piece of space cake in Amsterdam? Don't be serious, laugh. Celebrate, a woman said. Hold my hand, I can imagine you're alone on this trail. I've been there once, she whispered. Her tongue curled like a dry leaf in my ear and cackled. How much did you take? Just a piece? I took 39 pieces once. It can be crazy if you don't know it's coming. Don't worry too much. Don't lose your control over things. You can kiss me if you like. You can pat my back, tickle my belly, or stroke my breast for a while if it comforts you. Sometimes it can be heavenly, this licking the rim of forbidden frontiers of human life. Maybe read a poem of yours, someone said. My heart raced wild. And I heard some girls gossiping in the next room. What if we get sick in Europe? Don't we get sick in Asia? Just take it easy, another voice said. You won't go psychotic. Remember one thing, whatever happens, you can always make a comeback. Faces of my dear ones veered past my eyes. I felt delicate thread of my life slipping through my fingers. Hey man, it's fine, don't worry too much, my host shouted. Drink lots of water. Drink black tea or coffee, a guest suggested. Or take lots of orange juice. Maybe sing your favorite song, a woman said. Or recite one of your Hindu mantras. Or maybe stick your finger in your throat. Another voice came sheepishly. Throw up, you haven't digested everything yet? Questions came like wind slaps. Can you tell me what they call boredom in your mother tongue? Do you remember your email account and password? Discuss your children if you have any. Shall I bring my little daughter before you? Maybe you feel better seeing her brilliant eyes. I imagined a child's face and clung to it, like a penitent would hold on to a sacred cow's tail in his afterlife, and slept on it, all through the river of blood. Hours passed by, then I heard someone say, what if he had freaked out? What if death had stalked our house tonight? Hearing these words, I woke up, knowing I had come back, stepped on the familiar shores of life, where death is feared, a distant, distrustful thing. My drowse burst like a glacier that cracks from rumble of a seed of fire that explodes somewhere in Earth's deep sleep. So I'll end up with the New York poem on New York. Thanks to Jane for coming, for inspiring us all the time. She's my great friend and great patron of arts. And we have all family coming together. We have Ravi's family, my friends. My son was supposed to come, but he was trying to drive here. I said, please don't drive, to New York City. So he's back. So this poem, I know I travel a lot. I've been like, I make a living with this. That's all I do. I just don't go to universities or and make my living with that. I just write poetry. So I have been a lot in Europe. In India, Nepal, you have caste system. You never be an Indian, no matter how long you live there. Probably he knows you know better than anyone else. But you go to Europe, you never be French, German, or no matter how long you live there. But come to New York, next day you are a New Yorker. On the boroughs of New York, you share the bread of humanity in the subways. You see the whole world here. So when I first came, I was so much, inspired by the city. So I have written this book called A Blizzard in My Bones. And this is a poem about how you become a New Yorker. So then you learn that you are a New Yorker. I think Amit was born in New York. He's a bona fide New Yorker. Yeah. So you are a New Yorker. The day you learn to notice sparkles of sullen silence snapping the darkness of damn boroughs, or stop saying, taking notes of wild blizzards racing along the signature shore, you are a New Yorker. The day you start hearing Gaga songs in the screeching subway cars and stop saying, I don't know no Spanish to Latino visitors seeking directions, you are a New Yorker. Then you start understanding the thick jumble of subway announcements and roadside pronouncements. You don't have to be a Rockefeller to be a generous guy. You are a New Yorker. Then you stop taking Free Staten Island ferry to click a perfect shot of Statue of Liberty, or stop visiting Times Square at night and forget to find a way out of its labyrinth, or learn to walk the Brooklyn Bridge without a secret desire to dangle a padlock on one of its rafters, or stop seeing Walt Whitman sitting atop its edge looking for his beautiful boys and vagabond ferries entering the sheltered bay. You are a New Yorker. Then you stop feeding spy dogs at Grand Central. Recognize the homeless that hang out at Port Authority or Jackson Heights. Then you pass through the shrunken midnight of Sutphin Boulevard or Jamaica subway station without holding your breath in terror. You are a New Yorker. Then you start loving Starbucks coffee, wafting along wine-glassy Manhattan malls, or learn to chew the Brooklyn bagel, or lap up the steaming loneliness of cherry dog walkers around Central Park, or learn to make love and forget the face of your partner. You are a New Yorker. Then you stop guessing the origin of blonde teenager reading the current issue of New Yorker. Stop looking at the bare shoulders of the Vietnamese girl sitting on the free Wi-Fi table near the entrance of So Nice Village Cafe, opening and closing like the red lips on the first day of winter snow. Then you pass by Magnolia Bakery, loaded from famed cupcakes and moon-sized cookies. Then you stop visiting White Horse Tavern to pose against Dylan Thomas's Duncan portrait. Or stop hearing John Lennon's voice climbing the fire escape ladders of Hotel Chelsea. Or stop looking for the room where she gave Leonard Cohen a blowjob. You are a New Yorker. Then you stop walking at gay couples on L train, romancing like Bollywood couples, or fervently discussing pussy power, animal rights, or the ailing pets of parents. Then you stop staring at the Hesseback tubes of Williamsburg, their culls dangling out of the black velvet caps like Lord Shiva's sacred serpents. You are a New Yorker. Then you learn to laugh like a Latino bartender, smile like a Filipino waitress standing beside a stuffed rose pig like a queen, or stop looking at the cleavage of the nudist poet at Central Park, or learn to check your seat in the subway for a stain of shit the homeless might have left for you. You are a New Yorker. And finally, the day the girl from Cleveland, Ohio, behind the counter of Greenwich Cafe, gives you an email, offers a free top-up on your coffee, or lets you take her out. You are a New Yorker. July to 5th June. So you're welcome to join us. We have these famous distinguished people, Tracy K. Smith, Paul Muldoon, we have Ravi Shankar, we have Irish Times book editor, and we have Tina Chang, we have Rajni coming, we have Jane coming, in fact. So we are poetry in the court, you know. So all kind of action happening, and going to the temples and shrines in the Himalayas. The most ancient Hindu shrine, Changunarayan, will be going there. And to the last time we went to Pokhara, we went to Chitwan. So it's going to be a very exciting affair. So all of you are welcome to join us. Namaste.
Okay, thank you, Yutsu. Okay, next up we have Sunayana Kucharu, an award-winning film writer, associate producer, a lyricist, and published author. She's collaborated with some of the most celebrated artists of her time. And she co-wrote the critically acclaimed film, Songs of Paradise, a musical tribute to Padma Shri Raj Begum, and has written dialogues for several films, including the award-winning The Illegal. In addition to her own work in cinema, she directed a landmark musical harmony show in Srinagar with nearly 40 musicians, inaugurated by the Lieutenant Governor, and it was performed at Carnegie Hall right here in New York City. She's been invited to perform her poetry and music all over the world, including at US Capitol Hill, at Harvard, the Bangalore and Deccan LitFest, Ayodhya, and her work has been featured in Rolling Stone magazine, highlighted by the US National Park Service, and she's the author of 2 books and the co-creator of Zikr Uska, a women-centered poetry collective, and the Pashim Project, which brings contemporary and traditional voices into dialogue. So please, welcome.
Thank you so much. I need to do a quick poll. How many here understand Hindi, Urdu? Okay. Is it okay if I can read a Hindi poem? Is it okay? And I'll read an English poem as well. But I'll start with an English poem. It's October 1947. October 1947. It did not take them too long. It did not take them too long to break the door so strong. Fierce, oversized, burly Pashtun men, armed to slaughter, aimed to plunder. It did not take them too long. It did not take them too long to break the door so strong. Fierce, oversized, burly Pashtun men, armed to slaughter, aimed to plunder. Two fragile Kashmiri Hindu women watched in horror, froze in terror. Raiders ransacked their homes, defiled their heirlooms, desecrated their idols. Unable to endure this humiliation, she spat on them point blank. What else could a woman without weapons do? What else could she do? Unable to endure this humiliation, they shot her from behind. What else could a man with weapons do? What else? When the history of Kashmir will be rewritten, you won't find her mentioned in its footnotes. But there once was a fragile, resilient Kashmiri woman who fought with a spit, and she was my great-grandmother.
Wow.
Okay. Now about me. So I was picking up my husband's cousin from Boston Logan Airport, and she was coming from Indianapolis. So I went there and asked, "Is the flight from Indianapolis here?" And the guy there said, "From where?" I said, "Indianapolis." He said, I can't understand your accent. And this was my 20th year in the US. So this poem is for that. It's called Embarrassing Accent. My accent is a leftover of my journey. I cannot sanitize it to match it to your taste, so that your ears won't bleed. To pay a little bit attention, I cannot sanitize it. Agreed, my R's are too edgy for your well-rounded palette of sounds. My tongue cannot roll the words that my grandmother only dreamed of reading. I have to pause. When I speak these phrases, I have to pause to acknowledge the journey of these words and how they came to me. My accent may stink of curry and make you think I'm fresh off the boat. I changed my attire to match it to yours, to blend in and become another blah. Blah is safe, but my accent, I protect it with all my might. I refuse to cut the umbilical cord still attached to my dialect, because this is how my father recognizes my voice on phone. It has the traces of my story, and without our stories, we are all inconsequential. Now this is the only thing that's left, cannot be hidden, cannot be erased. So don't mock my accent, because it makes me, me. We talked about home, right? And many of us are from different countries here. So people ask, oh, do you like India? Do you like Britain? Do you like US? So here's a poem for that. Where is home? Is home a specific address, a house, a place, or a dwelling? Or can it be just a person or a just simple, subtle feeling? Or in a chock-full economy class of an international plane? Or a specific perfume, an ordinary dish, walking in a by-lane? Can my passport guarantee me an inclusion here? Or my yearly visits to India an intrusion there? A vada pav in Mumbai, overlooking the Arabian Sea, glazed donut in a rest area here, also tastes home to me. For the twinkling stars or the spinning wheel, Which flag will make you stand up with a zeal? How can one choose between a womb and a nest? How can one choose between a womb and a nest? I hear the star-spangled banner and my heart goes to chest. Hand goes to chest. Is my heart too small to cherish more than one song? Goosebumps for Jana Gana Mana. Is that ethically wrong? In the fourth quarter, when Tom Brady, I'm from Boston, sorry. In fourth quarter, when Tom Brady has to score a game-winning touchdown, or at the last ball of the match when Virat Kohli has to hit outside the ground, I become equally nervous, superstitious. My loyalty is not divided. My love has expanded. This is where my home is. I know it says here Songs of Paradise, so it's a movie on Raj Begum, which is a Padma Shri, first Padma Shri musician of Kashmir, and also Sahitya Academy winner from there. So this is a Hindi poem which I specifically wrote for today, and it's called Songs of Paradise. Wadi ki Aawazein. So if any of you doesn't understand Hindi, it's okay. You can just listen to the sounds of another language. How does it sound, right? So सुनो, सुनो ये गीत है वादी के, सुनो ये गीत है वादी के, हाँ उस सुंदर शहजादी के. सुनो ये गीत है वादी के, उस सुंदर शहजादी के, कश्मीर जिसे सब जानते हैं, कश्मीर जिसे सब जानते हैं, तस्वीर जिसे सब मानते हैं, जन्नत के जहां दरवाजे हैं, ऊंची सबकी परवाजें हैं, वादी में बुलंद आवाजें हैं. नदियां गाती रवानी में फूलों की शोख जवानी पे, बर्फीली पेशानी पे, बवरों की आनाकानी पे, कुदरत भी नंगे पांव चले. Nature walks barefooted here. It is so beautiful to feel the land. Nature walks barefooted in Kashmir. कुदरत भी नंगे पांव चले, सुस्ताए चार चिनार तले, आगोश में कांगड़ी भी जले. हर शय यहाँ पर गाती है, हर शय यहाँ पर गाती है और झूम झूम लहराती है. सुंदर है, कितनी सादी है, सच बोलो बहुत याद आती है. सबकी ऊंची परवाजें हैं, वादी में बुलंद आवाजें हैं. कई ज्ञानियों ने सींचा है, सूफी संतों का दरीचा है. कश्यप ने इसको नाम दिया, कश्यप ने इसको नाम दिया. भरत ने नाट्य शास्त्र लिखा, वेदों का यहाँ अनुवाद हुआ, वेदों का यहाँ अनुवाद हुआ. शिव शक्ति का संवाद हुआ, वेदों का यहाँ अनुवाद हुआ. शिव शक्ति का संवाद हुआ. लल्ला को जीवन सार मिला, कच्चे धागे से पार मिला. हब्बा, हब्बा खातून से पोएट्स फ्रॉम कश्मीर. हब्बा ने इश्क को खुदा कहा, हब्बा ने इश्क को खुदा कहा. बेगम गूंजी तो नाज बनी, और राज थी पर वो साज बनी. वादी एक गीत मुसलसल है. कश्मीर इज अ सॉन्ग विच इज इटर्नल एंड फॉरएवर. वादी एक गीत मुसलसल है, निरंतर है, ये हर पल है. केसर रंगी रागदारी है, कभी मखमल है, कटारी है. केसर रंगी रागदारी है, कभी मखमल है, कटारी है. सुर से रूहों तक की सवारी है, पहाड़ी है, दरबारी है. जैसी भी है ये हमारी है, जैसी भी है ये हमारी है. ऊंची सबकी परवाजें हैं, वादी की बुलंद आवाजें हैं.
Before we do that, I just wanted to acknowledge Rakesh Kaul, who's here, Vice Chairman of the IAC, and a big lover of poetry. You know, this is our heritage from the Sangam era through the Bhakti poets to the Bombay School. There's something about poetry and the innovation of Indian poets that I think is quite extraordinary. So I'm so grateful for all of you for joining us here today. We have our final reader, Amit Mujamdar is a diagnostic nuclear radiologist from Westerville, Ohio. He lives there with his wife and 3 children. He's also remarkably prolific. The last 4 years, 4 books. Twin A memoir, came out in 2023. The Great Game Essays on Poetics came out in 2024. This year we had 3 Metamorphoses, novellas in prose and verse. And coming out next year with Alfred Knopf, Things My Grandmother Said. So, welcome. It's so great to have you, Amit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, IAC, Ravi, Usha, and Matwala for thinking of me for this and for inviting me out here. It's just a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to hear all the sessions today and all the poets here today. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the past 3 years have also seen the release of the Mahabharata trilogy in India, which is a retelling of Grandmother Said. Turmeric can heal anything but a broken heart. I've got some Benadryl I bet could shush that dog of yours. Sounds fun, but what does it pay? You can't shoot the spots without shooting the leopard. If dressmakers' dummies could cook, we'd all be old maids. Poetry? You're grinding water with a pestle of ice. But when you've never thirsted a day in your life, I guess you can play. I know plenty of family history, but don't ask me where green eyes got into the bloodline. India invented recycling. We called it karma. But trash now is trash later. I wasn't crying. I was dicing onions in a memory in Ahmedabad. Nice. Every time I stand up, there's Rice Krispies in my knees. This girl is perfect for you. I know her aunt. Read that to me at my funeral, boy. Right now my show is on. I got to be this old by nibbling raw ginger every morning. Ambition's a sinkhole that deepens the more you dump in it. But that doesn't mean don't get a job. In the old days, families were so big, counting nephews felt like counting stars. Every kite forgets its string. Sure, the Ganga is holy, but who told you to drink from it? I'm kind of taking us back in chronological order from the collection, so that one hasn't come out yet. The most recent one collection in America was a book called What He Did in Solitary. It came out in 2020, just as the pandemic hit, so it remained quite solitary from a sales perspective. But I'm going to read this poem from it because I think we've talked a lot about like the British Empire and language and displacement and things like that, and it's this miracle that we're speaking English, right? And English found its way to India, and the English speakers of India have found their way to America and to England. So this is called vocative. English is my native anguish. I was born here, read here, teased and torn here. Vocative, ablative, locative, alive. English was a dislocation navigating oceans. Wherever it arrived, it broke and brokered words. Little bits of Britain, pilfered, bartered, written, looted, hoarded, heard. Papa swapped a world for shiny colored beads, for dandelion seeds. We are subject verbs. The root word of my name hooks a foreign land. long since shifted sand, books cannot reclaim. Graft of tongue, gift of dust, mother and stranger sing, the catchery, the everything at once you've made of us. And now I'm going to take us, thank you. And now I'm going to take us back to an even earlier collection, which is called Dothead, which was published in 2016. And thank you to Srinivas for giving me this copy in a pinch. I had actually forgotten this back in Ohio. But I'm going to read just 2 poems to finish us out from this collection. And the first one, I think, is particularly appropriate for this event, because it's called To the Hyphenated Poets, which is kind of what we all are. Richer than mother's milk is half and half. Friends of 2 minds, redouble your craft. Our shelves are hives, ourselves a royal jelly. May we at Benares and Boston, Philly and Delhi, collect our birthright nectar. No swarm our own, we must be industrious, both queen and drone. Being 2 beings requires a rage for rigor, rewritable memory, hybrid vigor. English herself is a crossbred mother mutt, primly promiscuous and hot to rut. Oneness, pure chimera. Splendor is spliced. Make your halves into something twice your size. Your tongue a hyphen, joining nation to nation. Recombine. Become a thing of your own creation. A many-minded mongrel. The line's renewal. Self-made and twofold. Soul and dual. Thank you. And I'll end our evening tonight with the title poem of this book. Usually when I'm in front of non-Indian audiences, I always mention that, hey, there's a mythological allusion in the final line relating to Shiva Nataraja dancing the dance of destruction in the sphere of fire at the end of time, but I probably don't have to do that for this audience. So this is called Dothead. Well, yes, I said. My mother wears a dot. I know they said third eye in class, but it's not an eye, not like that. It's not some freak third eye that opens on your forehead like on some Chernobyl baby. What it means is, what it's showing is, there's this unseen eye on the inside, and she's marking it. It's how the X that says where treasure's at is not the treasure, but as good as treasure. All right. What I said wasn't half so measured. In fact, I didn't say a thing. Their laughter had made my mouth go dry. Lunch was after world history. That week was India. Myths, caste system, sati, all the greatest hits. The white kids I was sitting with were friends. At least as I defined a friend back then. So wait, said Nick. Does your mom wear a dot? I nodded, and I caught a smirk on Todd. She wear it to the shower and to bed? While Jesse sucked his chocolate milk, and Brad was getting ready for another stab. I said, hand me that ketchup packet there. And Nick said, what? I snatched it, twitched the tear, and squeezed a dollop on my thumb, and worked circles till the red planet entered the house of war. And on my forehead, for the world to see, my third eye burned those schoolboys in their seats. Their flesh in little puddles underneath, pale pools where Nataraja cooled his feet. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's get another big hand for all of our poets today. There are some books for sale in the QR code. Please support all of the poets who are here today. We are not selling books, but you can get them on your own. There is some extraordinary programming happening tomorrow as well. So please do come out. And thank you all. Stay safe. And all the poets will be happy to chat with you, sign books. So thank you all again.